Welcome to the fourth episode of Speaking Serie B. My name is Elia. I am here with the other host of this program, whose name is Jake Jovine. We both live in the US, and while we support different teams, we are united by our passion for the game. Jake, please introduce yourself.
Good evening, Elia. It's good to be back. It's been a little bit of a compact few days as we, in the last live, we kind of forgot that there was a midweek match day coming up. And so we forgot to, say our predictions there, and we kind of forgot to cover that. But no, it's all good. It's good to be back here. And yeah, match day 2 is just about in the books. There's some games finishing up right now. So, looking forward to talking about another round of Serie B.
Indeed. Yeah, we're learning as we're going. And so today we're going to be making predictions not only on round 3, but also on round 4. And so that we don't have to be live like every day. And that's kind of the mistake we made last time. But as we said, we're learning as we're going, and we're doing our best to.
And then the following week there's an international break, so
Right.
it's going to be a little bit of a emptiness. I feel like we just came back from the summer break, and now we got an international break, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah. It has been intense for me being back in Italy and following my team, the team that I support, on 3 away games. And then the most recent one, the first one of the season in the Alberto Pico, has been awesome, but engaging. I haven't been able to create as much content as I normally do and promote as much as I normally do the lives that we have together and on our channel. So I can take a break right now. I can take a little bit of a break, but so I'm happy, ready to go. So we can start, if you want to, by sharing our thoughts about the very important wins of our 2 teams. So why don't you start telling us what are your thoughts about the most recent performance of your Cittadella, and then I'll talk about the Spezia game.
Yeah. So Cittadella getting their first win of the season in Brescia, 1-0 at the Stadio Mario Ricamonti. It was, a very intense match, a very heated match. Cittadella actually was playing down to 10 men for about 30 or so, 35 minutes of the second half after Nicola Pavan, our center back, got a red card. And they managed to score and they managed to hold on. So it was a big 3 points, very important win for the Granata. And, after what happened in Salerno last week, and where they gave up 2 goals in stoppage time to chuck away a win, they ended up getting a result. So it was very important, good for morale going into this next game on Tuesday against Pisa at the Tombolato Stadium at home in the new renovated Tombolato. That's they were doing a lot of construction this summer in the stadium, making the field a bit closer to the grandstand. So I'm really looking forward to that game, and I can't wait. And then you got on the next Saturday against Modena another away trip. So just kind of getting all these road trips out of the way early, so there's more home games left in the past. But no, it was a good win against Brescia, against a good team, against a tough place to play. In the Rigamonti is always a difficult place to play football in. So really, really important win for Cittadella.
Indeed, and you did mention that you were down by a man down from almost the get go. So I'm sure it has been a fascinating game.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. It was, debatable red card. It was a second yellow, actually. So I'll definitely talk more in depth about this in my own podcast and my thoughts about that. But
right, why don't you remind us where we can find your content so that the Cittadella supporter, especially
show, you could find that on, all streaming platforms as Spotify, Apple Music, or Apple Podcasts, I'd say, Google, and even on YouTube. We've been posting more content on YouTube, so please go check it out. But yeah, that was it was interesting. I thought at that point they were just gonna crumble and just kind of hold on to a 0-0 draw. But Carisone got the goal in the 63rd minute. A lot of drama. Brescia actually scored in the 92nd minute, but it got
Huh.
ruled out side on the VAR. Called. I know
Okay.
it doesn't really show in the stat sheets,
Right,
but
right,
they did score, and but it was called back for offside. So Cittadella maybe a little bit lucky in that sense, and Brescia also hit the post twice in this
right.
match. So um, definitely, I think after what happened in Salernitana last weekend, I think they needed a little bit of stroke of luck.
Right, right. Yeah, I see the shots, and they almost had doubled the amount of shots on target. They had a higher possession. I mean, they were playing in front of their own fans, in their home, and they had the advantage of having one more player on the field. So I'm sure they did their very best to at least equalize the score. But
Yeah,
very good on Cittadella. Good job, guys. Congratulations.
yeah. It was actually first win in over 140 days. The first win
Wow.
since league win since what was it, April 6th against Reggiana. It's only the third league win in the year of 2024, which is
Wow.
pretty remarkable.
This is one of the reasons why I enjoy to create content with you, because you know all these numbers and all these stats. You're awesome. I really,
Yeah,
really enjoy
and
all these things.
I think just it was it meant a lot for the team if you saw the match just after the full time whistle blew. The staff on the bench were all hugging each other,
Mhm.
celebrating. They went over to the away
A
fans.
sort of a liberation.
Yeah, and it's just they needed this win because if they had, even though a draw wouldn't have been necessarily a bad result, that would have been 2 games in a row where they gave up goals in the 90 plus minutes of stoppage time, and you don't want that to start becoming a trend as the season goes on because
Tell us
in,
about it. Tell us about it.
in the future games, you don't want them realizing, if they're winning or in the 90-ish minute, um, then that kind of sense of doubt comes into your mind and it kind of puts this more pressure. So to get that win, even though, they had a little bit of fortune on their side with the VAR, it's still very important mentality wise going into this season. So really good win, 3 points. That's all what matters.
Indeed, absolutely. I mean, I know what you're talking about. Spezia knows all about these last minute lack of mentality and losing games in the last 15 minutes or losing leads. So it has been a pattern for us that we just got rid of in the most recent game, the first game of the season in Alberto Pico. So I apologize in advance because it might look that tonight I am more distracted than usual, but we are checking messages, we are sharing and promoting our current live on Instagram. And we will be checking, I will be listening to the previous live so that we can remember, because I am unprepared. I didn't have, I'm unprepared. I got to get better. We got to improve. And I have to check our current the previous predictions of the previous live so that we can compare and check how
And
many we got right and we got wrong. So I apologize if I'm going to be
no,
appearing distracted.
take these last few weeks with a grain of salt because Ellie, you've been in Italy, so it's been you've been kind of working remotely for a bit and spending time with family, going to
Right.
the Alberto Pico, meeting actually Luca D'Angelo.
Indeed, indeed.
I'm sure you could talk about that, but yeah, just we're going to be getting back into the groove of things pretty soon.
Yes, so I just wanted to point that out for potentially new people interested in watching our content, that yes, we are at the very beginning and we'll do our best to improve. So now getting to the game that I just witnessed live from the stadium, Alberto Pico, after 7 years that I was missing from home, it was awesome to follow the Eagles yet again after being in Salerno for the Coppa Italia game, and then in Pisa for the opening game of the season, and then finally in Alberto Pico. And I can say that I witnessed the Eagles continuing on with their undefeated streak of results. Because yes, we didn't go through in Coppa Italia, but it took the penalties to prevent us from going through. So I consider us undefeated in the 90 minutes of the real time. So in Pisa happened what you just said. What actually happened in Salerno, that we lost a double lead and we were really struggling in the last minutes of the game, as it has happened way too often, even under the leadership of other coaches, even before Luca D'Angelo arrived. Luca D'Angelo really helped our guys, our Eagles, Aquilotti, as we call them, to improve their mind game, their mindset. But the beginning of the season, the beginning of the official games, proved us that there was still some difficulties to manage the energy, the emotions at the end of the games. But after the most recent game in Alberto Picco, just like we did with the very last game in Alberto Picco, the very last game of the previous season with Venezia, we were able to accomplish a great comeback. Venezia was leading 1-0. They were playing to achieve the Serie A, as they then did through the playoff directly, and we were fighting for maintaining the Serie B, and we were able to come back and win. And so we did in the most recent game in Spezia with Frosinone, which with whom we share some history, because it was losing with Frosinone 1-0 that we were able to reach for the first time in the history of our club the Serie A. And this yesterday, so Saturday 24th, we started really strong. Actually, the game started 8 minutes after what should have been the opening time, because there were no lights in the stadium. Like, the lights wouldn't come on. But then we started and we were really strong from the get-go. We had two clear shots, two clear opportunities to score. We didn't, as it happens too often. And then at the first opportunity for Frosinone, which have a really good squad, they really have a very strong midfield. Our number 5, Salvatore Esposito, made a wrong passage. He got intercepted, and they just break through us like a knife in the butter, basically. And they score. No fault of our Sar, the goalkeeper. And the first half of the game ended with Frosinone getting the lead. So I went through the spalte, the chatting with other supporters, and I asked them, what do you think? How is it going to go? Do you think we can come back? There was hope, but it really looked that Frosinone had a better footing. Is that something that you say, a better footing on the game?
Yeah, they had a firm grasp on it,
Yes, and yeah. But we were able to equalize thanks to Salvatore Esposito, who transformed, scored the penalty. And I'm happy that he did that, because he was the one that made the mistake that allowed Frosinone to gain the lead. So it was important for the kid who's really doing his best to score the goal that equalized. And then I think the difference was what really made the game change were the substitutions by Luca D'Angelo. Candelari entered the pitch, and he really turned the light on. And this is a play on word that I made when I was saying that the lights were off at the beginning of the game, which was true. So when Candelari entered, the light went on. And we were able to score with Aurelio, who also came in from the bench, and the rest is history. So finally we started strong with a very good draw in Pisa, and then a win in the first game in Alberto Picco. So very good beginning. I'm really pumped. So I should really relax, because we know how difficult and how quickly can Serie B change. But that's a good beginning for us. Yeah. Before letting you on again, I just wanted to read Michele Pasini comment, who writes, Mantova beats 3-2 against Cosenza, their opponent in the next match against Spezia. So yes, Mantova lost. I thought that Google was still telling me they were still going, but I talked so much.
Yes, so it was actually, turns out to be a crazy finish. Mantova was leading 2-0 against Cosenza. Then Cosenza ties it in the 87th minute, 2-2. And then Mantova scoring stoppage time to win 3-2.
Nice. I mean, this is how crazy. This is how crazy Serie B is, right? I mean, Cosenza beat in Cosenza at the opening game Cremonese, and then they lost in Mantova. Mantova is a newly promoted team that drew with Reggiana in the previous round in Reggio Emilia. So even Mantova, like Cesena, might actually be playing a better season than we foresaw. So thank you, Mike. Thank you, Michele. And yes, he was pointing out that Cesena lost in Mantova with Mantova, highlighting that Cosenza will be the next opponent for Spezia on Wednesday night. The Eagles are going in the Tana of the Wolves. How do you call Tana? How do you say Tana?
The Tana? I don't really know.
Okay, I'm going to check it with the translator.
They're going down to Calabria to play Cosenza at
the den of the Wolves. The Eagles are visiting the den of the Wolves. Yes.
Yes, because Lupi. Yeah.
Indeed. Okay. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead, Jake.
Yeah. So, that should be a good game. I think I kind of remember you guys last season played in Cosenza in a crucial game for the Salvezza where they thought they had won it in the end, but goal was rolled out for offside, I believe it was, and that set up that final game against Venezia. But no, I'm glad you were able to experience that victory against Frosinone at the Pico. I'm sure it was great to be back, seeing the curva, seeing the fans. I'm sure maybe you brought Mr. D'Angelo some good luck after you shook his hand the day before.
Right. I don't know.
You want to explain to everyone like what actually happened? Were you able to meet him? Actually, you ran into him.
The way it actually happened was that thank you for asking, first of all. And I will be probably vlogging or creating some content for the rubrica A Bocce Ferme, for the playlist A Bocce Ferme, while I'm in Hungary during the upcoming week about it. I don't know. I don't want to make empty promises. The point is that I went to meet with Armando Napoletano, who's a journalist that with whom I recorded an episode of one of our shows, which is Spaziamo sullo Spezia. So less space about Spezia, basically. And as I was meeting with him, it was extremely kind. So look, there is a press conference this afternoon. That was on Friday, if I'm not mistaken, Friday or Thursday, I don't remember. And I told him, look, I can't participate. I'm just a supporter. I'm not a journalist. Oh, don't worry, come over. I'm sure you'll be able to at least meet the coach. So they didn't let me into the press conference because, of course, that's only for the journalist. But I was there. I was hanging outside while the journalist went in, and I had the possibility to meet a lot of the journalists with whom I recorded chats during the previous season. Nicola Pasta, Luca Vaccaro, and some other journalists, Enrico Lazzari, and some other journalists that I'm in touch to record future episodes, like Andrea Bonatti or Marco Zanotti. And at the end, we also hanged out, but I had the possibility to meet with the coach, who was extremely kind. Although I was all sticky and sweaty because I was riding my road bike around the city that day. I took a picture with him. He's a huge guy. I'm tall. I'm a tall guy, but next to him, I'm really small. So, and I just told him, good luck for the season. And maybe that did it. I don't know. But it is true that I only witnessed 3 games, and Spezia has been undefeated for these 3 games. So even at the stadium, they told me, you can never go back. But unfortunately, I'm leaving in a couple of hours. So there you have it.
It's unfortunate, but, it must have been great. I think I told you, you should have given him one of your Speziato scarves. And
so thank you. We did take a picture with him. I actually have it in the sigla. I'm not going to play it now because it's like 2 minutes and I can skip it forward. But we gave him one already when one of our fans club rewarded him with an award for the most important, normally something that we give to a player, but for the first time, it was the Aquilotto of the season for the past season. So for the previous season. And during the live that we did, as they were giving him this award, they gifted him one of my scarf. So I actually forgot that day to take a picture with it. I didn't want to put my logo like in front of him just the first time I meet him. So it was just good to be there. I enjoyed every second of it. And anyhow, I don't want to monopolize this episode. It's already 20 minutes that we're on. The games are over. We can start. I can check out what were our predictions for the previous game, and we can compare it. But it's going to take me a second as I get ready to do that. So how do you want to go about it? Maybe we can start making prediction on the next one, or why
Yeah,
don't you
or
talk about the games that ended these?
yeah, we could
These
go about this match day 2
Perfect.
since all the games are finally
Okay.
finished and
I'll let you do
concluded.
the talking if you don't mind, and I remove myself from the screen as I'm putting on,
Yeah,
as I'm sharing
that's
the
fine.
information.
Yeah,
Perfect. Thank
so
you.
we could start on Friday, which was Modena against Bari. Modena coming from a goal down to beat Bari. So not a good start for Bari, as they are currently 2 losses in a row, one against Juve Stabia and now against Modena. Südtirol beating Salernitana 3-2 in Bolzano. So actually a crazy game. Südtirol getting once again another late goal. Matteo Rover scoring in the 96th minute to beat Salernitana. Spezia obviously beating Frosinone 2-1. If I'm reading off my phone right now, and so I'm not doing the Google, so it might not be in order. But anyway, Sassuolo beating Cesena 2-1 at the Mappe Stadium. Sassuolo getting off to their winning ways. Sampdoria defeated at the Marassi 1-0 against Reggiana. Pisa
I interrupt
defeating
you.
Palermo 2-0. Cremonese 1.
Hey, Jake,
Cremonese
sorry if
1.
I interrupt you. Here I am. So I want to show you these so that maybe you have it next to you. Let's see.
Perfect. Yeah, so just continuing on, like I said, Pisa beating Palermo 2-0, Cremonese 1, Carrarese 0, Cittadella beating Brescia 1-0, and then the games on Sunday that just concluded, Mantova 3, Cosenza 2, and then a goalless draw with Catanzaro and Juve Stabia. So round 2 in the books. Now we get to look forward to round 3 and round 4 of this new Serie B season. And then right after that is the international break, unfortunately. So that's 1 weekend without Serie B. Seems like once again, it seems like we just had the long break, but what we could do. It's very interesting to see that Palermo and Bari both lost, the 2 teams that we expected to be much improved from this last season, currently sitting in 19th and 20th place. Well, you could say the same for Frosinone and Sampdoria. Both have 1 point apiece and both losing this weekend. Meanwhile, you got Südtirol in first place, Pisa up there, Juve Stabia, Mantova, the 2 newly promoted teams up there as well. You got Cesena there, Mantova up there. So yeah, it's still still very early. We can't really decide much on it, but that's kind of where we stand going into this match day 3. Südtirol really the only team that is with a perfect record so far. So it's really only taken it's only taken 2 match days for just one team remains that has a perfect 2-0-0 record. So that is the catch up for this match day 2 of Serie B, as Elia just finishes up wrapping up what our predictions were from this past week. This past week, yes, because it's been a long week. So we just have to wait a little bit, as there he is.
Yes, I was trying to listening to you and finding out the previous prediction. So we started with Modena Bari. Let's see if I can put that in the middle again.
I remember I said that I think I put a draw there. And I think
Indeed,
you said
exactly. Good
Modena.
memory. Good memory. Good job.
Then I think I said Brescia was going to beat Cittadella, but
Okay, so let's start with Modena Bari. You did say, hold on. You said X and Modena won 2-1.
yes, so you get a point for that because you did say Modena was going to win.
You remember that? Because I haven't gotten there yet. Okay, cool.
How about yeah, I mean, I'm not completely sure about like every single result, so You want to do this next podcast where we go over
Yeah,
three
absolutely.
games?
It's unmanageable. Yeah, I can't do it because otherwise we're going to be here for double the time. Yeah, it's
Okay.
unmanageable. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's no problem. And
Let's just do the predictions for the next round and the following one, and then we'll check all of them. What do you say?
perfect. Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. Yeah, I apologize, guys. As we said, we try to have a structure, but sometimes we have to adapt based on how we do things and how much room for error there is and how much we have to improve. So let's talk about the upcoming round. Match day number 3 out of 38. Do you want to start, Jake?
Sure. Yeah. So
Frosinone Modena. There you go.
Frosinone Modena. So let's see here. Both yellow teams that wear yellow. Let's see. I think Frosinone will win. I think they'll finally get their win. I don't know what score it'll be, but I think Frosinone.
All right. Yeah, I agree with you. Frosinone Modena won. Frosinone has to win because they are a good team. I mean, we saw a very strong team in Alberto Pico this past round. So absolutely, they can win with Modena.
Yeah, I think they'll win that.
All right, Reggiana Brescia. I actually don't know what Reggiana did this week because we haven't gone through the results. So let me open another one because I want to make my prediction based on how they did and see how.
They beat Sampdoria, like I said, just a few minutes ago.
All right. So Reggiana Brescia, they play in their own. Reggiana Brescia won.
Reggiana?
Yes.
Okay. I'll say Brescia for this. I think they got a. I don't think they played necessarily badly, but after defeat against 10 men, I feel confident about them. So I'll say Brescia for this.
All right. It's good that we disagree so that when we go back and check, if we always say the same thing, it's not fun. So it's perfect, of course. Cool. Carrarese su Tirol.
This must be, I believe this is, if I'm not wrong, the first match for Carrarese at home in their home stadium, or unless they're playing somewhere else. Aren't they playing in Pisa?
I honestly don't know that they had some issue with their stadium, but I don't know if they solved them. I'm not reading anything about Carrarese. We just despise each other now, so I have no idea.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it is technically a Carrarese home game. Su Tirol off to a good start. I'll say a draw for this. I think Carrarese will get their points. I'll say 1-1 draw.
All right. Carrarese su Tirol, I say 2 strongly.
2. Okay. No love shared for.
No, absolutely. No, I don't know. I mean, Su Tirol, I said that it was going to get relegated this season, and they are the only team that won both games so far, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't checked the results of the second round, as I just said, because I was trying to play behind the scenes. And I want to hope that Su Tirol wins again. So, Carrarese Su Tirol 2. Salernitana Sampdoria. I sympathize for Salernitana. They're playing in their stadium, so Salernitana Sampdoria 1. Normally, I predict a lot of draws. I haven't predicted a draw yet for this round. So Salernitana Sampdoria 1.
Okay, I'll put Sampdoria. Actually, I think Pirlo will get back on track. It'll be probably like a 2-1 game. Because remember, if it wasn't for that, that late comeback against Cittadella, Salernitana would be on 0 points right now. So I don't know if I'm entirely convinced on them yet. So I'll say Sampdoria for this.
All right, makes perfect sense. And then the next game is going to be Cremonese Palermo.
Ooh, the big match, as they call it in Italy. Palermo, I think they don't want to go 0 for 3 in their first 3 games. So I think they definitely have to win this. So I'll go Palermo.
All right. How about an next? No, not next. I put an X. A draw between these 2 teams. Cremonese Palermo X.
Okay.
Cittadella Pisa. I start Who Pisa is in good shape. Is very good condition. I mean, they just beat Palermo 2-0. So I'm sorry, Jake. I'm going to say that they're going to win in Cittadella. So Cittadella Pisa 2.
That's fair. You know, it's Pisa, a very good team under Pippo Inzaghi. It is first game, so at the Tombolato in the renovated Tombolato. So I'm excited to see. You know, there's going to be a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of excitement. I'm sure from everyone. I don't know how many tickets have been sold yet. You know, it's still obviously early. We only have a few days until the game. So this is tough to predict because, like, as you know, I'm always pessimistic about Cittadella's results. Like, I always, you know, I don't really always predict the win. Always. So, for this, you know, I'll say a draw.
All right.
X.
Next game is Bari Sassuolo.
Another team, Bari, that has gone off to a bad start. They don't want to go for 3, especially in front of their fans. Sassuolo, you know, coming off the win against Cesena, then they got the draw against Catanzaro. I'll say another draw for this X.
I agree. I mean, just Bari can't keep on losing.
Yeah, I feel like it won't happen. So I'll say 1-1 draw in that case.
All right, I agree. Bari Sassuolo X. And then there is Juve Stabia and Mantova. This is another one of those matches between two newly promoted teams. And I want to say Mantova. Juve Stabia 2.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to agree. I like how Mantova, especially after that win against Cosenza, they must be really fired up for that you know, late win. And then they obviously got that draw against Reggiana coming back from 2-0 down. I think, correct me, I don't know if I'm 100% on this, but I don't believe Juve Stabia Stadium is up to code. So I believe they're playing in Piacenza, believe it or not, which is all the way up north.
No way. I didn't know.
From, yeah, like
Let me check that.
I read that. Yeah, you might have to double check, but I believe they did. They are playing in Piacenza at least for the first few games, but I don't know if anything changes since that. But anyway, I still think Mantova will win, and on top of that, the travel for Juve Stabia. It's actually closer to Mantova than it is to there's city near Naples where Juve Stabia plays. Can't remember the name, but yeah. Anyway, Mantova, due.
All right. Yeah, no, I can't find anything quickly this way. I can't. I don't know. And then we have Cosenza Spezia. That is your game to predict first.
Cosenza Spezia. You know, you got Elia, you there, and then you know, our friend Antonio from Lotta con i Lupi.
Right.
I've had him on, or he's had me on his show, so I sympathize for both clubs here.
Thank you.
For that reason, I'll say X. You know,
That's fair. Cosenza Spezia. Actually, tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. on our channel, there will be a live of Spazio al Prossimo, the pre-game of Cosenza Spezia. I won't be on it. Michele Masala of Spezia Calcio Club, you know, Calcio Spezia Cavatorti Club, will be hosting that episode, and the protagonists of that episode will be Valentina Mitidieri, journalist for I don't remember, but Cosenza newspaper, and Antonio Palopoli, as you mentioned. So let me go and check. I want to be precise. Valentina works for Cosenza Post and Lupi si nasce. Antonio Palopoli works for
I know that channel.
Lotta coi Lupi, Italia Cable, and Media Sud. I wanted to be prepared. I only read it now. So Valentina Mitidieri and Antonio Palopoli, together with Michele Masala of Spezia Club Cavatorti, will be the protagonist of tomorrow's episode. So normally we make our predictions after I made this chat. So I know more about our opponents. I don't believe in luck or unluck. So I see Spezia being a very healthy team in a good mental condition. So I want to hope on at least a draw, but I think that we could actually make a colpaccio. You know what I mean? Something like very big and unexpected after winning with Frosinone. Maybe with Frosinone, it would have been a draw, would have been more deserved. But finally, our guys went for it. So I want to hope that on the wave of that enthusiasm, on the wave of that confidence gained in the most recent game, we can score 3 points in Cosenza as well. On the base also of the fact that Cosenza just lost with Mantova. So maybe they're not in the greatest condition. So yes, Cosenza Spezia 2.
All
The
right.
last game of the third round is Cesena Catanzaro. Cesena is one of the healthiest teams among the newly promoted one, and I sympathize for Catanzaro. So at least I want to give them an X. I don't think that Catanzaro is going to lose. They're coming from a draw, so Cesena Catanzaro draw. I say X.
I'll say 1. I like what Cesena is doing. I think they'll win in front of their home crowd again. I think 2-1 against Sassuolo. I didn't watch the game. I haven't seen the highlights. I haven't really read anything about that. But it's against a good team. They were drawing at 1 point, so it wasn't a bad result. I'd say against one of the strongest teams. So I'll say Cesena. Why not?
I don't disagree with this. I just didn't want to give Cesena a win. So I understand your reasoning, and yeah, I share your thoughts absolutely. All right. So before moving on to the prediction for round 4, what do you think was the most surprising result of this round 3?
It's there was a lot of
Sorry, this
results.
round 2, because round 2 ended. We just predicted round 3. A bit of a confusion here.
I mean, I would say Pisa and Palermo, like Pisa getting the win because we expected a lot from Palermo this season and they still haven't gotten that win and still even gotten a goal yet. But I
Right.
think Pisa is a good side and it's not like as of a big of a shock as if like if it was Caradese beating Palermo, for example. Sampdoria losing 1-0. Like we still don't know if Sampdoria is like really legit under Pirlo. It still seems like there's still some problems. Maybe Südtirol beating Salernitana, just given I don't think anyone expected Südtirol to go 2-0 to start the year. So I'll say Südtirol for that.
All right. Yeah, I was checking the stats. I mean, it doesn't even look like Palermo. Got dominated. It looked like they did their own game. So I haven't watched it, but looking at the stats, they didn't play badly.
Stats don't always tell the whole story, but
Right. No, you're right. You're right.
for this reason, we don't have we don't have a million eyeballs on each game, so
Right.
we can't.
Maybe in the future, who knows? We'll have guests as we were planning on having in the past, and we didn't have the chance, and we're planning on doing that in the future. As far as I'm concerned, I just didn't foresee Mantova winning with Cosenza, but you did explain us that it was a very close game, and just in the last minutes, Cosenza reached the draw, and then Mantova scored again. Just I didn't see Mantova beating Cosenza after Cosenza won in their home, in their own field with Cremonese. So I just didn't see this coming. This to me is the most surprising game of round 2. So we quickly talked about the matches of round 2, which just ended tonight a few minutes ago. We did make our prediction for round 3, and we're going then to compare the predictions we made on the previous live for round 2 on the next live. But before ending today's live, we would like to make our predictions for round 4 as well, as there are, all these rounds are very close to each other. So since you started, I'm going to be starting with this if you are okay with that.
Yep, all good.
All right. So Saturday, August 31st, yes. Match day number 4 of 38. The first game will be at 6 p.m. Sampdoria Bari.
The
They are
Gemelagio
two.
club.
Say
Gemelagio.
it again.
They're Gemelaggi, the two supporters. They
Oh,
have a
okay. Mhm.
Gemelagio. Yeah.
I didn't even know. Okay, cool. Thank you. So there are two teams that, at least as of to the second round, which just ended, are struggling. So I'm gonna say Sampdoria Bari won, although I sympathize for Bari. There is a lot of respect between the two supporters, between Spezia supporters and Bari supporters. But I don't think Sampdoria can continue on the way they are.
Yeah,
They
it's
lost,
hard.
right?
Sampdoria did lose against
Yeah,
Reggiana. It's hard to predict because we don't know the results of match day 3, and that could,
good point.
determine and that could change our opinions on a lot of these
Indeed.
results. So for this, since Sampdoria is at home, I'll say Sampdoria with the win as well. So we both
Right.
agree on that.
All right. So Sampdoria Bari 1-1. Perfect. So moving on to the next game of match day 4, round 4, which will play Saturday, August 31st at 8:30 p.m. Pisa Reggiana. Jake.
I'll say Pisa. I know it seems kind of obvious. I do think Reggiana is going to fight in that game, but I'll say Pisa again. So
Yes. But if Pisa keep on going in line with all our predictions, they're gonna win the championship. Freaking A.
yeah,
So no, I agree. I mean, they're one of the healthiest teams at these, given the first two rounds. So I don't disagree with you. I can see that happening. So Pisa Reggiana won. Pisa Reggiana won. I don't see Reggiana winning in Pisa. I mean, Arena Garibaldi is just a difficult crowd, a difficult surrounding. All right, so we agree on this one as well. Pisa Reggiana won for the both of us. Sassuolo Cremonese. Oh, this is going to be an interesting game. I'm
Yeah.
gonna give one to this one as well. Sassuolo Cremonese won Saturday, August 31st at 8:30 p.m. Yeah, Sassuolo Cremonese won for me.
Feels like Cremonese is only playing the big, or Sassuolo is and both of these teams are playing big games in the early parts of the season. It's Cremonese obviously playing Palermo this week also. So this is a tough one, but I'll say Cremonese with the away victory. I think they'll
All right,
get back on it. Yeah, why not?
why not? And then we're moving on to Südtirol Brescia.
Hmm, it's another interesting one. Is it my turn? I think it is.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Yeah. Brescia, I think 2 road trips in 1 week as they play Reggiana this week on Tuesday or Wednesday. I can't remember, but I think that's a lot of travel. I think it's compact. I think Südtirol's playing well at home, so I'll say Südtirol for this one.
All right, Südtirol Brescia, I say X. I mean, Südtirol is surprising, but it can't win them all. And Brescia started well with a win, and then they did lose with you guys, so they're not in a great shape. But we don't know what's going to happen in round 3, so it's really tough to predict round 4 without the base of the previous round, as you mentioned earlier. So Südtirol Brescia X.
Okay, that's fair.
Moving on to Modena Cittadella. I know that I predicted a loss for Cittadella on round 3. So Modena did what? Modena is going to be facing on
Frosinone.
Frosinone. It's so difficult. Modena Cittadella X.
X. Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you. I also say X for that. It's we're playing against a Bisoli team, which is never easy. You know, Modena, another team, a solid team. Pedro Mendes up front is a goal scoring Cittadella got a draw here last year, which was a decent result. So I think it'll continue a trend, another draw for this X. So I'll say X again.
All right. We agree on a lot of these predictions for round 4,
Yeah.
which rarely happens. I like it, though. I like it. Cool. Then we have Frosinone Juve Stabia, which is going to be the first game of Sunday, September 1st, and you're on.
Frosinone Juve Stabia. I'll say Frosinone. I picked Frosinone to win against Modena. I think they'll start to get their form. So Frosinone win.
Frosinone. I agree. I mean, Juve Stabia is a newly promoted team with a newly relegated team. They just lost the Serie A in the last 15 minutes of the league last season. So they're, I mean, it's a reinvented team. They had a lot of players on loans, but it was a good team that we played against. The Spezia played against with just yesterday.
Yeah.
So Frosinone Juve Stabia won.
Yeah, I agree. Frosinone is. I'd be surprised if they are struggling this year like Spezia did last season, coming down from Serie A, because they have a good coach like Viverini. They have still a lot of good players, even though a lot of them left from Serie
They play good soccer. It's like the contemporary football. Contemporary meaning, they're very aggressive. Every time that there was a penalty, one of those, not a penalty like un rigore, ma una punizione or a corner kick, their goalkeeper was the last player on the midfield. Like they had 10 players, 10 giocatori di movimento in our half. Like they are organized. They have a lot of young players that are really fast.
Oh, yes. Sorry to cut you off, but don't forget.
No, I'm done.
These first 2 games, they've had to play against Sampdoria and Spezia, 2 of the favorites to be in the playoff picture, at least strong teams. So still very early. And also in the Coppa Italia, they played Pisa under Pippo Inzaghi, like we've been talking about. We love to praise. So yeah, I think Frosinone will win this match.
I was saying that yesterday after the game, I was invited to Tele Liguria Sud, which is a local TV station, and we shared our opinions after the game. I said that I was really happy about the fact that Spezia, under the leadership of Luca D'Angelo, so it's somebody that already knows the players, that already knows La Piazza, La Spezia, and that the main group of our players know each other. We've been able to encounter Pisa in Pisa and then Frosinone in La Spezia early on, where knowing that both of these teams want to play to reach playoffs, but both of them have new coaches, so they don't have their handle on just yet. If we were to face these teams along later on during the season, they might be better organized. They might be more difficult to beat. So having a draw in Pisa and then winning with Frosinone, and that the fact that we met them early on, I think was an advantage to us on the base of what you were saying. Yeah. Continuing with our prediction, Mantova Salernitana. So Mantova surprised me, as I said earlier. So I want to say Mantova Salernitana 2 because I sympathize for Salernitana. I did predict that they're going to be struggling this season, almost like Spezia did in the previous season. But I want to hope that they're going to win in Mantova. So Mantova Salernitana 2.
Okay, I'll put a X for that. I'll put a draw. I think it's a fair result for both.
Cool. And then you are the first one to predict Spezia Cesena.
Oh boy, a lot of pressure. It's two teams that wear black and white as their main colors, and I believe Spezia played in Cesena a few times last season, if I recall.
Yes, Alberto Pico was under construction. They were redoing the Tribuna, and we played a lot of games, a lot of our home games away in Cesena, and of course the fan base don't like each other, so they didn't like us to be there. And it's a long drive for the supporters to be there.
Anyway,
and let's remember that in Cesena plays Simone Bastoni and Mirko Antonucci. So we are
Mm.
eager to welcome them back in our nest.
Well, then for that, I'll say a draw. I think both teams play out for, I think, an exciting draw. It'll say 2-2.
All right. Spezia Cesena won. I just want our Eagles to win. I don't know. I mean, if we go by my predictions, we're going to be winning them all. So, but again, I'm a fan. I'm biased. Cesena, Spezia Cesena won, and I don't care. We'll see. So, Palermo Cosenza is the next game to predict. Palermo can't continue to lose, and Palermo, they're going to be playing in their hometown. So Palermo Cosenza, as much as I sympathize for Cosenza, I actually sympathize for Palermo as well. I remember in the 90s. So Palermo Cosenza won.
Okay, I'll put X actually. I think Cosenza actually beat Palermo there last season. So 1-0. And then in the reverse fixture, I don't know how they did in that. I'll just pull it up real quickly. But I think
Sure.
Cosenza has actually played well against Palermo in the past. Yes, they actually got a draw in the reverse fixture. And going back on it, doesn't look like Cosenza have lost to Palermo since 2018. So for that, I'll say a draw. I think Palermo's still figuring stuff out. Draw. Yeah, so X.
All right. And then we have the last game of round 4, Catanzaro Carrarese. See more matches to make sure that
I will say Catanzaro.
I agree. Catanzaro Carrarese won. Absolutely. I would like Catanzaro to win in
Sorry,
Catanzaro
Carrarese.
against
I'd
Carrarese.
like a good story for Carrarese. Similar to Lecco's from having been in Serie B. I know you have a little different opinions because you're a Spezia supporter, but yeah, I say one, Catanzaro.
All right. I agree. So we will see how many of these we got right and how many of these we got wrong in the next of our live of Speaking Serie B. So
That's
if
right.
just reminding you guys that you can follow our content on Instagram, on YouTube, of course, and on TikTok. Do you have a TikTok page?
I don't. We're only on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Chitakachu USA.
There you go. You can find all the links to our other platforms and profiles on the description of this video. Guys, we thank you very much for watching our content. We hope you enjoyed, and we do encourage you to like it, share it, subscribe to both of our channels, and of course, leave us comments. Let us know through the comments what you would like us to improve, what you would like us to talk about. I'm sure there is a lot of room to improve. So we're encouraging you to invite us to improve, some feedback about what we're doing. Please, Jake, I'll let you conclude today's episode.
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you, Elia, once again for organizing this. It's already 2 match days in, and then the next time we talk, it's going to be already 4 match days in. So it's already moving really fast. So, but anyway, yeah, you could follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube at Chitakachu USA, and our website, chitakachuusa.com, for articles, pre-match articles, Guarini press conference, all that stuff at chitakachuusa.com. So please feel free to follow us there, and we'll see you next week.
All right. Thank you all, guys.